So recently I've established that the best versions of Sonic 1 and 2 currently available are the mobile ports by the Taxman and Stealth. I've also established that Sega are a bunch of dumb assholes for refusing to allow them to make a mobile version of Sonic 3. And even if they hypothetically did allow it, they're still hypothetical assholes for not allowing the port to come out on PC. So what is the best possible way to play Sonic 3 right now? Well, just play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, right? I mean, as long as it's both games, it doesn't really matter how you play it. Just don't play the PC version with the shitty MIDI music. If you weren't aware, there was an actual PC release of Sonic 3 and Knuckles on CD-ROM called the Sonic and Knuckles Collection, and for legal reasons, certain songs like Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base had to be replaced. Again, there are plenty of videos out there which go over the whole legal situation, but it's a little more complicated than just because Michael Jackson was involved. It also has to do with this guy, Brad Buxer. But the point is, unless you really don't care about the music or you're deaf or something, then you can play any version of the game except this one. All that matters is you're playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'm pretty sure that everyone watching already knows this, but for the one person who clicked on this video by accident, to get the true Sonic 3 experience, you need to plug your Sonic 3 cartridge into your Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, and using lock-on technology you can play through both games as one seamless experience called Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is the way the game was meant to be played. As a kid, I thought the idea of lock-on technology was so fucking cool. I mean, sure, maybe making consumers buy 2 games just to experience the full version of Sonic 3 was kinda shitty, but I didn't care. Because of this unique situation where they had to split the game into 2 carts due to size limitations, we're also now given the opportunity to plug in Sonic 2 and play through that entire game as Knuckles. This shit blew my motherfucking mind as a kid. I mean, seriously, what is this, fucking magic? You plug in one game into another game and now you can play as a character from the bottom game and the top game? That's fucking magic. I mean, think about it. It's magic. Mario fans, imagine if you could somehow plug Super Mario Bros. 3 into Super Mario World and then use Yoshi in that game. Wouldn't you have thought that shit was cool? They were hyping up lock-on technology like it was going to be the next big thing, and I remember thinking about all the crazy crossovers that would be possible in the future. But no, lock-on technology was just an excuse for making a game that was too big to fit on one cartridge. Sonic and Knuckles is the only lock-on game ever produced, and it only really worked with 2 games, Sonic 3 and Sonic 2. If you tried to put in Sonic 1, you just get the standard no way screen, but you could actually play what's become known as Blue Sphere, which uses randomly generated Sonic 3 special stages made by rearranging pre-made chunks of level, resulting in 134 million levels to play. You know, there's probably some guy out there who really loves this game, like it's his favorite game in the world. Like he wakes up every day excited to play new Blue Sphere levels. Wherever you are, Blue Sphere guy, I salute you. So, there's really no reason to ever just play Sonic 3 standalone, right? I mean, why would you ever want to play just the first 6 zones when you can have the full intended experience with Sonic 3 and Knuckles? Oh wait, that's right! Some of the music is different in Sonic 3. The main theme is different, so is the invincibility music, the 1-up jingle, the mini-boss theme, and the Knuckles theme has that sick drum beat. These Sonic 3 tracks go completely unused in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is a damn shame. There's even a unique song that plays during the credits instead of a medley like all the other games. There's also some minor gameplay differences between Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like they removed this hilarious spring, which was no doubt responsible for many deaths during this part of Hydra City. They replaced it with an extra life, which is fucking lame. I don't want this game to pull its punches. Launch Base Zone in particular has a bunch of changes, and overall is definitely harder in Sonic 3. After playing through this zone a million times, I think I'd prefer to play the harder version. And you know, I always kinda wish they kept the Sonic 3 final boss when playing through Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I mean sure, he's there on the Knuckles route, and that's great and all, but I'd still at least like the option to fight him as Sonic or Tails. Well, all of these issues and so many more have been addressed by the incredible ROM hack known as Sonic 3 Complete. This hack restores the Sonic 3 final boss, and gives you the option to use the original Sonic 3 zone layouts. And there are so many music options. You can now choose between the Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles songs, and one nice option is to have the Sonic 3 credit song playing during the ending cutscene instead of the boring Sky Sanctuary music. And maybe you're one of those poor souls who had the PC version growing up. Well, there's even Genesis renditions of those songs included as an option. You know, something I always thought was kind of weird was this level transition between Carnival Night and Ice Cap. Like, this cannon shoots you all the way to the top of a snowy mountain, and I mean, it's nighttime when you shoot out, and it's daytime when you land. Plus, Knuckles didn't even use this cannon, he had to use this weird teleporter pad. Something about this always just struck me as kind of odd. Well, you may have noticed something interesting if you ever use the level select code for Sonic 3 by itself, which by the way is nearly fucking impossible to do. You have to press up, up, down, down, up, 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 after the Sega logo screen fades to black and Sonic begins to move, but before the title screen appears. You only have about 1.3 seconds to input the code, and there are a fucking ridiculous number of lag frames on which your input won't be accepted. But if you can pull it off, you might notice that this level select screen has Flying Battery Zone listed between Carnival Night and Ice Cap. That's because this was the original intended zone order they had planned. And something kind of cool is that Sonic 3 Complete gives you the option to play through the game like this if you want. They even bothered to change the background of Flying Battery's outside parts to look like night, and they also included the option of changing the inside parts color palette to better match the unused save file icon found in the Sonic 3 data. Also, if you're playing in this order, then when you start Ice Cap Zone, you use the door from Flying Battery as a snowboard, as it was originally intended. It actually flows pretty well in my opinion. I mean, it's up for debate whether it's truly better or not, and obviously it feels super weird if you've played the proper order so many times, but still, it's kind of neat. Just to mix up a run of the game every now and then. It's a nice option to have. Also, this level select screen lists a Mushroom Valley zone, so Sonic 3 Complete gave you the option to use that name instead of Mushroom Hill, because why not? They thought of everything, man. These guys are fucking legends! They're fucking legends, dude! Imagine if someone came up to you and said, hey, you know all those tiny little minor annoyances you have with your favorite game? Yeah, well, we just fucking fixed them all. Enjoy. They fixed the Sonic text on the tornado being reversed during the ending. They fixed the fire sprites appearing underwater in Angel Island. They fixed Super Tails Flickies ruining the Sandopolis mini-boss and Death Egg boss. Something that always kind of bugged me is how Knuckles used a slightly different color palette for the cutscenes in Sonic's story. Like, he looks a little bit more pinkish and he has yellow socks. Well, not only do they fix that, but if you want your Knuckles to look slightly pink, there's an option for that too. You can choose between the original Sonic 3 save files or the Sonic 3 and Knuckles ones with Lives and Continues displayed. Blue Sphere is available from the menu now, and even it has a couple changes. You can finally play as Tails! Wow! Tails! You know one thing that always fucking bugged me? When playing as Knuckles, Robotnik is replaced with Egg Robo in every single level except Flying Battery Zone, because that boss uses a unique Robotnik sprite. Thankfully, Sonic 3 Complete has fixed this glaring oversight, and it is no longer impossible for Knuckles to defeat the Death Egg mini-boss, so you can actually play through Death Egg with him if you want. You can also use Tails and Knuckles in Doomsday now, so basically you can finally use any character in any stage using level select. And even the level select character selection option is a lot better than how it was in the original, using little icons instead of a number. Insta-Shield now deflects projectiles, which apparently had been intended all along. I used to think the Insta-Shield sucked as a kid and I never used it because I was always trying to use it as a shield because, you know, it's called the fucking Insta-Shield. While it does give a few invincibility frames which can be used to protect yourself with good timing, it turns out it's far more useful in an offensive capacity as it slightly extends the hitbox of your attack. It turns out in Japan it's called the W spin attack. I know they use W to mean double in Japan, so I think it means the double spin attack. Regardless, they clearly thought it was important enough to put attack in the name, which would have been nice to know. I grew up thinking this was supposed to be a fucking shield. Goddamn shitty translators, they burned me again. In Sonic & Knuckles, when you start a game as Knuckles, he gets this nice little cutscene establishing the Egg Robo as the antagonist of his run. There's no such cutscene when playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so this hack adds in a slightly modified version at the beginning of Angel Island Zone, and it also flows seamlessly into gameplay instead of having to fade out. It's just nice to have, you know, I like the little cutscenes. Although as much as I like the opening cutscene, once you've seen it as many times as I have, you kinda like the option to skip it. Well, now you have that option. When playing through Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you never get to see the Sonic and Knuckles title screen. Not a big deal or anything, but in Sonic 3 Complete they include the Death Egg crashing part as the little connecting cutscene between Launch Base and Mushroom Hill, which I thought was a nice touch. They even gave Tails a little intro cutscene too, as well as his own results screen colors, and a continue screen. You know, I always really liked the zone title cards. But you know how that little icon in the bottom right is a palm tree? I mean, that's perfect when you start the game up and you're in Angel Island, but that's the only level with palm trees. There's still a palm tree on the title cards when you're playing Sonic and Knuckles, and there's not a single goddamn palm tree in that whole game. Wouldn't it be cooler if each zone had its own icon? I think it's a pretty neat little feature, and again, it's totally optional. By the way, can I just say how much I fucking love the Sonic and Knuckles logo? I mean, to this day, I think it's one of the best logos I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. I mean, just look, even the logo is using lock-on technology. What a brilliant piece of iconography. I need to get this on a jacket or something. Here's a fucking great change that you'll be familiar with if you've played the mobile ports of Sonic 1 or 2, and will be appearing in Mania as well. If you're playing as Sonic and Tails, then if you hold up and press jump, if Tails is in the air, he'll start flying, and if you jump into his arms, you can actually control him with the D-pad, thus allowing Tails to finally actually become useful. It was kind of sort of possible to use Tails when playing by yourself originally, but it's a huge fucking pain in the ass on the actual Genesis. I think this change is a great addition and I really love it. Another fantastic change is related to the Super Transformation. You now have to press a different button than the one you used to jump to transform. This actually allows you to use your double jump abilities without transforming if you have more than 50 rings, and it also lets you transform without intentionally having to lose your shield. What a great fucking change. You can also use the same method to cancel your transformation. Also, you know I love being Supersonic, but after a while hearing that same fucking loop of the invincibility music over and over and over again, well, it gets a little grating. Like, imagine hearing this, but for the better part of 2 hours. Well, Sonic 3 Complete gives you an option to use the sped up version of the stage's music, like if you had the speed shoes, which is so much better. Also, in the original version, there were some sprites which didn't look quite right when Super, but they just used the regular Sonic sprite with the Supersonic palette. So of course there's an option to use some new sprites which were created to maintain a more consistent look. I personally don't have any problem with it, but I know some people aren't huge fans of Sonic's design in this game. I mean, it definitely looks different from the other Sonic games. So if you're one of the people out there that really strongly prefers the way he looks in 1 or 2, then you have the option of using those sprites instead. Are you some sort of weirdo who doesn't like the radical elemental shields and all the cool movement options they bring? Well, you can set it to the boring original shield if you want. Do you miss the super peel out and weird spin dash from Sonic CD? Oh, you can have those too. Are you an insane Sonic 1 purist who wants the game to look and play like Sonic 1? From the physics with the ground speed cap to the boring shield, down to removing the spin dash? Well, you can do that too, you fucking madman. Although unless you're playing on easy, the game will be unbeatable without the spin dash due to certain hazards. That's right, this game offers the easy and normal modes from Sonic Jam. I have no interest in playing Sonic for babies, but hey, why not include it, right? One nice improvement is the slot machine bonus game now has a counter which shows how many rings you need to get a continue. It also fixed how getting a continue works, because in the original game it might not be exactly how you'd think. It's like the Sonic 1 special stages where you have to collect 50 rings, right? Well, actually you just have to have 50 rings, so if you enter the bonus stage with 50 rings, then you only have to collect one of the rings to get a continue, which is kind of stupid. This fixes it so you actually have to get 50 rings in the bonus stage. So everyone knows that at the end of an act you're awarded a point bonus based on your time remaining. If you manage to beat an act in less than a minute, you're awarded a 50,000 point bonus, which is an automatic extra life. But did you know there's a way to get a 100,000 point bonus? In order to pull this off, you need to finish the act with 9 minutes 59 seconds on the clock. Not easy to pull off, as if you're late by 1 second you'll die from a time over. So what does it have to do with Sonic 3 Complete? Absolutely nothing. I just thought it was neat. Really, I cannot emphasize this enough. The best thing about this hack is how incredibly customizable it is. Some of the options I mentioned, like changing Sonic's sprite, require using the ROM customizer on their website, but it's super easy to use. And Sonic 3 Complete can actually fit on a Genesis cartridge, so if you want to play it on actual hardware, that's an option too. Seriously, this ROM hack is like a fucking miracle. Everyone can craft their own ideal Sonic 3 experience. It's my Sonic 3 and I need it now! Maybe absolutely nothing I've shown to you so far is appealing. Maybe the only way you want to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the original version, bugs and all. You know what? That's absolutely fine. I can respect that. The official version of the game isn't going anywhere. I mean, it'll always be the canon version, and it'll always be the version people want to speedrun. But if you just want your experience to be improved for a casual playthrough, or if you play through the game more times than you can count and wouldn't mind it being a little different next time, I really think Sonic 3 Complete is worth checking out. Oh fuck, it's so good. It's so good, guys. It's so good I made a whole video just talking about how good it is. I'm sure there are some of you out there thinking, but Cybershell, I already know about Sonic 3 Complete. It's been out for years. Well, why did you watch this whole fucking video then? Besides, there are plenty of people out there who haven't heard of it. When was the last time you stopped and took a moment to appreciate just how goddamn motherfucking good this ROM hack is? Just consider it a reminder. Who knows, like I said, maybe one day Sega actually will make an enhanced port of Sonic 3. If you're watching this from the good future where this actually happened, then I probably would recommend playing that version. Sega, if you ever actually do release this port and put it on PC, I will apologize for every single time I said fuck you, Sega. I will do a playthrough of Sonic 3 Knuckles, but every time I jump I'll say, I'm sorry, Sega! But even if they do eventually make this port, I doubt it'll have the insane level of customization as Sonic 3 Complete. So I can't really ever imagine this ROM hack truly becoming obsolete. It'll always be worth checking out in my opinion. This video doesn't even come close to covering all the bug fixes and options that are available. I just wanted to make a video talking about some of my favorite parts this ROM hack has to offer. And I just want to make sure everyone is aware of its existence. Thank you to all these people. Literally all of these people are fucking legends. Every single one. But I have to give the ultimate tip of my fedora to Tiddles, who was the project director and lead programmer. Truly, you are worthy of entering the pantheon of Sonic gods along with Stealth and the Taxman. So, yeah, that's the video. There's links to all this good shit in the description, so get out there and play Sonic 3 Complete. Do it. Do it or I'll kick your ass.